Chapter 51. Blood Test. Jennifer. I could hardly sleep last night. Today was the day that we find out that it's Jackson's baby I was carrying. It was barely light out when I got dressed. Low-rise jeans and a dark blue fitted top that showed off my small bump. I spent extra time doing makeup and fixing my hair, checking the time every few minutes. The appointment was at 8 o'clock a.m. Jackson insisted on the earliest one they had. That wasn't a problem with me. If we got the results back today, even better. I would move in tomorrow then. 6:30. I wonder if it's too early to mix his DNA in the vial. I pace around the bathroom, apply another coat of mascara. Fuck, it's only 6:35. Honestly, it should be fine. I had a few hours once it was mixed. I open up the vial and drop one piece of Jackson's hair into the dark purple liquid. It fizzes, and his hair dissolves almost immediately. I wonder if I'm supposed to put the cork back on or leave it open. I don't want any to spill, so I guess I'll replug it. I set it on the counter to do its thing. "Baby girl, are you awake?" My mom knocks loudly on my door. I'm thankful, not for the first time, I have my own bathroom. "Yes, Mom, just finishing getting ready." I call through the door. I check the vial. It's purple, but turning lighter. "I'm making you breakfast, so come out." I sigh. I really didn't have an appetite for breakfast. Was I even allowed to eat before I took this? Or should I eat before I take it? I eat a few bites of my mom's breakfast before claiming I feel sick and run back to the bathroom. It's light purple now, almost a creamy color. 7:41. Okay, I can do this. I unplug the vial and drink it in one chug. A thick liquid that tastes like I imagine gasoline would go down my throat. I have to do everything in my power not to throw up. I hold on to the edge of the sink and focus on anything but the taste. My body starts tingling. I hoped that was a good sign. After a few deep breaths, I think I feel normal. I head out the back door and rush to the PAC clinic. I'm the first one there. I thought Jackson would have been banging down the doors, eager to prove my baby wasn't his. I smiled at that thought. He would have to change his tune after tonight. I look up as someone enters. William strolls through the doors and sits down next to me. I wasn't expecting him. "How are you feeling, darling?" he asks, genuine concern in his eyes. "Oh, I mean, a little sick here and there and so tired, but besides that, I think I'm okay." "My Gianna was so sick with Jackson the entire time. I hope that's not the case with you." He smiles again. Bzz, bzz. My phone goes off in my pocket. "How did it go? Did it work?" I quickly shove it back in my pocket before William can see. I turn back to him and he's still smiling at me. "Sorry about that. I forgot I snoozed my alarm earlier." He laughs a little. "That happens to me all the time." Jackson. I get to the clinic a few minutes before 8, not wanting to make small talk in the waiting room. I'm surprised to see my dad waiting there with Jennifer, but nobody else. I wasn't expecting anyone to show up to this. "Hi, Dad. What are you doing here?" "Just wanted to offer you both moral support." That's unlike him. I give him a look, but he just smiles. Weird. Thanks." "Jennifer, Alpha, the doctor is ready for you now." The nurse comes up and says, "I guess that's my cue." My dad heads out of the clinic. He wasn't even staying for the appointment. Once we get into the room, Jennifer reaches for my hand to help her lay on the table. She was definitely milking it. The doctor wastes no time checking her vitals and asking her questions about her pregnancy. "Can we just get to the test?" she demands. The doctor and I exchange a look, which she must have caught. "I just want to prove it's his as soon as possible, so I can start preparing my baby's nursery and planning ahead." She crosses her arms and pouts. "The fact that I'm 8 weeks into my pregnancy and I haven't even been able to start his nursery is just upsetting." She looks at me. "He's coming in 3 months and he needs a place to stay and a united parental front." She reaches for my hand and I pretend not to notice. "All right then, simple procedure. I need to draw Mom's blood and get a swab from the potential dad's cheek to compare DNA." She glares at him when he says, "potential dad." When that was done, Jennifer groans while she sits up. "We should have the sample by tomorrow. I won't let it out of my sight." he promises me, and Jennifer rolls her eyes. No matter who the dad is, remember you have an appointment next week to reveal the gender, the doctor adds, but Jennifer is already huffing and leaving the room. I follow her, not wanting to cause a scene, and catch her arm in the waiting room to spin her around to face me. "How dare you let him speak to me like that?" she demands before I can get a word out. "The insubordination you allow from your pack members is absolutely ridiculous." "It's not insubordination. They aren't speaking to a ranked member with disrespect." "He was speaking to me, the mother of the Alpha's child, like that," she says with venom. "He simply stated a fact to someone that could potentially be carrying a child of an Alpha." She glares at me. "That's all. Now take a few deep breaths. There was no need to storm out like that." "It's just all of this. The baby was so sudden, and I didn't even want kids, really, and now everyone is accusing me of lying to you and me it's just so much." She starts breaking down and sobbing. For a split second, I felt sorry for her. "Jen, I get that it's scary," I say, trying to calm her down. "I knew you would understand. You're the only person that does." She wraps her arms around me and I pat her back. "I promise I'll be the best mom to the future Alpha and the best Luna to this pack." I pull her arms from around me. "Nothing has changed, Jennifer. I'm sorry, but I will not take a chosen mate." Her eyes flash with anger, but she plasters on a smile. "You will when Isla leaves you. And she will. She can hardly compete with me. You'll get lonely. I'll be the only person there for you. I was always the only person there for you. I made sure of it." "What do you mean?" "I did what it took to make you mine. You always talk about doing what is best for the pack, and I always knew I was what was best for the pack." I take a step away from her. "I'll talk to you when the results are back." I leave the clinic, not bothering to dissect whatever bullshit she was talking about. Isla. After the incredible night with Jackson last night, I didn't see him all day. I knew the appointment was early this morning, but the doctor said the results might take a day or two to get back. I debated texting him to see how he was doing, but I know how he was doing, probably as bad as I was. I headed to the library for the morning, but nothing could distract me. Abigail and I took a walk, baked, did the hardest puzzle we could find at the doctor's house, but nothing helped quell my anxiety. Finally, we went for a long run. Abigail headed back hours before I did. I trusted Adrastea to lead the way, and we ran until we couldn't anymore. Darkness started to fall, and we walked home, getting in well past midnight. Abigail was passed out in my room waiting for me. I smiled and curled up next to her after a hot shower, hoping sleep would be generous enough to take me. Jackson. I debated all day about going to find Isla. I knew she would be a welcome distraction, but I didn't want to see her without good news. I ended up trying to do everything in my power to forget all about it, but nothing was working. I paced in my office, took a cold shower, tried to read a book, took a hot shower, played video games with Cam. Nothing. Eventually, I linked Lucas to join us for some sparring. We headed down to the gym and spent the afternoon kicking the shit out of each other. I had to stay focused to avoid Cam's adept moves, and it was the only thing that distracted me a bit from waiting for the results. I checked my phone after sparring and saw no new messages or missed calls. I would give him another hour before I called him. "Dr. Lockhart?" "I'm sorry, Alpha. There isn't any news yet. I'm going to stay in the lab this evening, and as soon as we get the results, I will let you know." I hung up the phone. How the hell was I supposed to sleep tonight? Jackson. The next morning, I paced around my room. I didn't get much sleep, if any at all. I debated going to training, but I didn't want to miss the call. It was 6 a.m. It was almost 24 hours. They should know by now. I jumped in the shower to distract myself, letting the hot water run cold. Stepping out and wrapping a towel around myself, I grabbed my phone. Still nothing. While brushing my teeth, I get a call, and I almost don't want to pick it up. I see the doctor's name flash across the screen, and I don't want confirmation of something I already know. Jennifer's baby was mine. "Hello?" Alpha, I got the test results from the lab. We're still waiting on confirmation from the outside lab, though. I wait. He doesn't go on. And? I hear him take a deep breath. Fuck, I knew it. It looks like the child is yours. I want to hang up the phone, but every muscle in my body is frozen. Even though I knew that this was probably the case and I was mentally preparing myself for it, hearing it made me realize I was still holding on to the little bit of hope that everything would go back to normal for Isla and me after today. It's a 97% match. I'm sorry. I know these weren't the results you were expecting. 97%, I repeat. There's still a 3% chance. As if he was reading my mind, he says, rarely are paternity tests 100%, so we take everything above 90% to be a perfect match. Thank you, I managed to say after a minute of silence. I hung up the phone. I didn't want Isla to find out yet, but the doctor being mated to Abigail, she would find out one way or another. I had to get out of here. I couldn't face anything right now. I ran downstairs to the back, about to shift. Jackson, wait, my dad calls to me. I keep running, not wanting any bullshit condolences. He never knew how it felt. He found out my mom and he had to risk losing her over something like this. He caught up to me and grabbed my arm. Son, listen to me right now. I try to jerk his arm away. I need to tell you something and it needs to be in private. I wonder if he found a loophole. The way my luck was going, I'm sure he was going to tell me that I would be forced to take Jennifer as my Luna, and she was having triplets. Hear me out, and then you can go run away from your problems. Hell, I'll even join you. I sigh and head back to my office, taking the steps so I could put off this conversation as long as possible. Isla was on to something by using the steps. My dad sits me down on a chair, and he takes his old place behind my desk. Son, I know what the news is. And I can't even imagine how hard this must be for you. He folds his hands. There is something that I wanted to mention after the results were back. He sighs. I didn't want to mention this to you earlier because I didn't want you to get your hopes up. I look up to him, and I still don't want you to get your hopes up. I'm just trying to cover all bases here. He gives me a serious look. I have had Jennifer followed over the past week, just to make sure that nothing strange was going on. I look at him, confused now. Don't be mad, they didn't find anything, really. She has mostly just been around the house, planning for the baby with her mom. Okay, so why is he telling me this? Until yesterday. What happened yesterday? Again, it might not be anything. She got a visit from someone outside this pack. They came in through the back door of her parents' house and stayed for only a few minutes. Who were they? We're not sure. We pulled up the security footage and the records from the front gate. He was using what seemed to be a ranked member's car from another pack. He's a ranked member? Not one I've seen, but to be completely honest, he could be an Alpha's second son, so he might be a current Alpha's brother. Access to ranked cars, but not someone either of us would have remembered seeing. I nodded. What was his reason for coming? What did he state when he got to the gate? That's the thing that's strange. He said he was visiting a family member here for the day. I tried to remember Jennifer telling me about her family. I knew she was close to an aunt at a pack a few hours away from where her mom was from. Blue Ridge, I think. Maybe a cousin or something came to visit. But he only stayed for a few minutes. A family visit for only a few minutes? Coming in the back? That's strange. I mused, trying to remember anything she told me about family members in the past. Exactly. He lied to our men at the front gate, if he isn't family, and then visited Jennifer for only a few minutes and left. It was enough to tip me off. What name did he give? I asked. Jeffrey Compton. Doesn't ring a bell. I think her family from her mom's pack were all Jeffersons and Murphys, if I'm remembering correctly. It might not be his real name. Since he was driving a ranked member's car, they probably didn't ask him for identification. I'll have to have that policy changed. My dad nodded in agreement. So what does this mean, though? Someone visited Jennifer, so what? That's why I came to the appointment this morning. I just wanted to talk to her to see if she would let anything slip. I was going to bring up that I saw she had a family member visiting, make up a story about how the front gate needed approval and couldn't find you and had to contact me, something like that. He waves it off. But she wasn't there that early, and then you came in shortly after. Damn. However, I did see that she received a text that someone was asking her if it worked. If what worked? That, I'm not sure. But I think you need to get another blood test done. One that she doesn't have time to prepare. Chapter 52. Another appointment. Jackson. Is there even a way to fake those kinds of things? The doctor said it matched my DNA by almost 100%. Not naturally, no. He sighs. But if she had help from someone used to bending the rules of nature, a dark witch perhaps. My eyes bulge. I can't imagine that. I honestly can't either. I told you it's a small percent, a very small percent chance this is wrong. I just think that it couldn't hurt. She's not stupid, Dad. As much as she might play that she is cunning. I can't just ask her to take a blood sample without her knowing something is up. Wait a few days and start pretending that you're on board. Move up your next appointment saying you want some more photos, or Gianna does, and then have the doctor draw more blood at that appointment. She won't let that happen. Blood gets drawn for so many reasons during pregnancy. Have the doctor come up with something. Check iron levels, I don't know. He waves it off. I guess he has done this before. Okay, let's bring the good doctor in then. I shake my head, and my dad smiles. I kept trying to say that I wouldn't get my hopes up, but this was the last time I promised myself. Jackson. The doctor agreed immediately and agreed to keep his schedule open, but wanted us to wait a few days. If there was something in her system that could change the DNA temporarily, he wanted to make sure that it worked its way out. He said he wasn't sure how long anything could last in her system, and this was new territory for him too. None of us knew what it was she could have taken, or how it might have worked. There was no way to confirm that she took anything either. It was a complete shot in the dark, and the fewer people that knew, the better. I told the doctor to take the night off and spend it with Abigail and Isla at his place. More importantly, to keep them there. I was going to have Jennifer's parents over for dinner with mine. I needed her to trust me in the next few days and believe that we were going to be a united front. You can't act too happy about this. More resigned, my dad whispers to me as we walk down to the dining room later that night. You're right. I might have to talk with her tomorrow and try to patch things up. Did you tell Mom? He looks guilty. Well, that will make it more convincing. We're laughing as we walk through the dining room doors. Lisa, Greg, Jennifer, and my mom are already sitting there. They look up when we enter the room, mistaking our smiles for happiness about this situation. My mother looks relieved to see me put together. Well, it's nice to have us all together again. Now that we have that silly test behind us, we can celebrate as a family, Lisa says as we sit down across the table from them. Of course, it's best to just move forward with this and make the best out of it. My dad agrees. I don't say anything, playing the indifferent father-to-be. I thought us two might be helpful getting the nursery together. Greg turns to my dad. Only a few months away and the little Alpha will be here. The ladies have it all designed already, but there's a lot of furniture that they ordered that needs to be put together. My dad nods. Sounds good, Greg. I think I can remember how to put together a crib, but it's been a while. We need to discuss the baby shower too, Lisa adds excitedly. Jennifer looks at me, surveying my reaction. I look at Lisa and nod, hoping to seem resigned. We can host it in the pack house. That would make the most sense, my mother adds a bit quietly. Lisa and Greg look at each other with smiles, happy that my family is finally accepting this baby and moving forward with the plans. Yes, I think that would be perfect, don't you, Jen? Lisa turns to Jennifer. Of course. Thank you, Gianna. That sounds amazing. I want your help too to plan it since you weren't around to plan the nursery. she adds a bit harshly. Well, we are here now. My mom gives her a tight smile. For this baby, she adds. It will be easier once we find out the gender, but that's next week, so we can hold off until then, Jennifer adds. Actually, I say for the first time this evening, everyone at the table looks at me. The doctor said that we could come in this week to try to find out the gender. I go back to my plate of food. Do you want to do that, Jackson? Jennifer stares at me. Sure, might as well know as soon as possible, I shrug, trying to seem nonchalant. I'll have him set it up after dinner. Lisa squeals and grabs her daughter's hand. I can't wait to see if we're going to have a little girl or a boy. Isn't this so exciting, Gianna? My mom smiles. It will be nice to have a baby around here again. The rest of dinner drags on. I add to the conversation when necessary, but not saying more than I need to. My dad and mom are agreeable, but nowhere near the enthusiasm of Greg and Lisa. To my surprise, Jennifer seemed to have calmed down after the test. Her anger and confidence that she threw around beforehand is replaced with apprehension. She keeps looking at me, almost worried, studying my reaction to everything being said. Next time, we will have you at our place, Greg says, standing up to shake mine and my father's hands. That would be great, my dad replies, and I nod curtly. Lisa pulls my mom aside to talk about the shower arrangements. I already hear talk of a balloon entrance and renting live flamingos. I really hope this baby isn't mine. Jackson? Jennifer looks up at me. I didn't realize she came next to me. I think it makes sense if I move in the pack house. She pauses before rambling on. The appointments are going to be every week soon, and I want to set up the nursery and get settled before they come. And of course, it's going to be hard to waddle around. I would need meals prepared. It just makes more sense. I pretend to think it over. That does make sense. Her eyes light up. But can we hold off until next week? She looks pissed, probably thinking I'm going to put this off forever, which I hope I can. I scramble for an excuse. I think my mom wants to paint all the rooms while we are having the nursery done, and I don't want you around the fumes. She smiles at me and pats her stomach. She takes my hands in hers, and I try to pull away, but then I realize that I was playing a part for the next few days. She places my hands on her stomach and smiles up at me. I don't feel anything. I don't either, Flint says. Are we supposed to? I haven't had a kid either. I have no fucking idea. Maybe it's because it's not our mate's baby. I don't feel any connection to it, though, at all. What are you two talking about? Jennifer eyes me. I take my hands away from her stomach. Flint is ready for pups, I guess. I've been holding out on him for too long. She smiles and licks her lips. Were they dry, or is she trying to be seductive? Well, you know we can always have more. She shrugs, trying to sound nonchalant. This kid will need some siblings. I sigh. Let me link the doctor while you're here. She's in. When should we come? It's been almost 48 hours since the first test. How about in 2 days just to be sure? 8 a.m. again? Perfect. Free 2 days from now? I ask her. She nods. All right, 8 a.m. again to see if we can find out the gender. I give her a small smile and she returns it. I'm kind of nervous to find out the gender. Are you? It doesn't matter to me either way, I say honestly. Isla. I haven't seen Jackson since the night of our date. The day after, we all spent occupying ourselves in different ways. The doctor came home that night and there were no results yet, which made the waiting even worse. He didn't come home at all the next day until that evening. Abigail and I shot up when we heard the door open. There has been a slight delay. He looks between us. We're waiting on confirmation from the other lab. Slight delay? What does that mean? I had no idea if a delay would be good or bad. How much longer will it take? Abigail adds. Hopefully no more than a few days. We might have to get it redone altogether, he says and heads to his room. I need to get changed, but I was going to order pizza tonight, so decide on the toppings you want. The sky's the limit for my girls. He gives us a shaky smile and rushes to his bedroom. I thought he said he would know today, I mutter. I can't do any more of this waiting. I did too. Abigail puts her hand on mine and gives me a small smile. I'm sure you will be the first to know. The pizza was amazing. We ordered it from someone in the town that started their own pizza place a few years back, and it was the best thing ever. I knew that the doctor was doing everything in his power to keep my mind off of it, and I was grateful, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I trusted the doctor, but I knew that he had to submit to Jackson's authority. I didn't want to think about it too much. My eyes were getting heavy. Not sleeping last night, and then the emotions of today had caught up to me. Do you want to lay by the fire for a little? Abigail asks. Maybe just a minute, and then I'll head back. I laid down on the couch, and Abigail covered me with a soft blanket. I fell asleep to the sound of the fire crackling and Abigail and the doctor's loving chatter. Jackson. 2 more days. I could pull that off. I could get through that. Tomorrow morning was the doctor's appointment, and then we would find out tomorrow or the next day. 2 days of trying to keep Isla in the dark. 2 days of pretending to be civil with Jennifer. She already agreed to the earlier appointment, so I didn't see a need to go out of my way to talk to her today. I would see her at the appointment, play my role, and be friendly tomorrow so that she wouldn't suspect anything. I kept trying to tell myself this was a long shot, that there was no way Jennifer got someone to help her alter science, that the visit from the random guy was really a family visit, and maybe they had a fight. All of that made more sense than her getting in contact with a witch. My emotions have been all over the place the past few weeks. There was constantly a shiny glimmer of hope, but the closer I got to it, as soon as I tried to grab it, it turned to ash in my hand. I'm focused on work today. I've been behind with everything, and I also needed to meet with Cam to talk over a new training schedule and approve his new patrol ideas. It takes my mind off of everything for a moment. I didn't realize how much I put off, and I spent a few hours burying myself in work. No matter what was going on in my personal life, I was an alpha first. That's what my dad always told me. But he never had to worry about losing his Luna. A knock came on my door, and the door was flung open before I could respond, in typical Jennifer fashion. I took one last look at the papers in my hand and plastered on a small smile. To what do I owe this pleasure? You don't have to be so cold. We are having a baby. She plops herself on a chair across from me, dangling her legs across one of the chair's arms. I raised an eyebrow at her, hoping it looked like I was flirting. I never had to try to flirt before, and I don't think I was any good at it now. I wanted to show you some designs. You said you were painting soon, and I want to make sure you got the color right. Also, I had some ideas for the rest of the rooms on this floor. Jennifer, I know. She waves her hand. Your mom has probably already chosen the colors, but I'm here now, and I'm the one that is going to be living on this floor. You don't need to default to her, taste. She looks around my office in disgust. Anymore? You have me for that. She smiles and pulls herself up, plopping a binder on my desk. I already have some ideas, of course, but I wanted to make sure you love them too, because you're living here as well. She opens her eyes wide at me. I really don't understand what she thinks she's doing. Okay. I'll take a look at them after I get done with this. I pick back up some papers and a pen, indicating the conversation was over. She sits on the edge of my desk. What are you working on? She asks, kicking her legs off my desk. I flinch at each tap of her foot. Just some pack stuff I've been meaning to catch up on. I don't look up. You know I can help you with that now. I look up at her. I know you don't want to take a mate or whatever, but you shouldn't have to do this all alone. I did want a mate. My mate, not anyone else. I have to restrain myself from saying what I wanted to. I take a long breath, pretending to read something complicated. That would be nice. I finally get out. Good. She claps her hands and goes to sit behind me. What can I do? Jennifer. I turn to face her. As much as I appreciate the offer, how about you take it slow until the pregnancy is over? Then you can help as much as you'd like. Your job now is to cook our baby. I catch myself. She gives a wide smile. You are going to be a great father. I'm glad you finally came around. She places a hand on my cheek and it felt cold, not like the warmth and sparks I get every time Isla touches me. Now go get some rest. We have an early morning tomorrow. She nods, walks out, pausing at the door. Get back to me with the paint approval tonight. I started my favorites. Of course, we have to wait until tomorrow to decide the nursery color, but then we can have them start painting in the afternoon, so I can move in a few days. I muster a smile. I hope it looked like a smile at least. I'll get it done as soon as I sign these papers. She beams and slams the door behind her, making me flinch. I think I appeased her for today. One more day. Chapter 53. Gender Reveal. Jackson. I wake up early again. I can't help the slight feeling of excitement that is accompanied by my now daily morning stress. I missed Isla, but I really couldn't risk anything until after this appointment and the results were back. The doctor said that he has been entertaining her as much as possible. Today, I told him to try to convince the girls to walk to our little town area and do some shopping and grab lunch. I gave the doctor an envelope of money that he kept refusing, but I demanded that he took it to give them for the outing. If I could distract her for just today and keep her out of Jennifer's way, everything would go smoothly. I felt bad having the doctor lie to them, but it was more of a white lie. He told them that the tests had to be redone because something that was wrong with the vial they collected the blood in. I don't know what he told them exactly, but he assured me he made sure it sounded official and confusing. That brought us a few more days when they thought we were redoing the test. I knew Isla would be understanding and forgive me when this was over, and I could explain it to her one way or another. I have been missing training more this past 2 months than I ever have before, and I was definitely feeling out of shape. I decided to go for a morning run in human form and get a quick workout in to try to settle my mind. After my cold shower, I still had half an hour left before I had to be at the appointment. I hoped Jennifer wouldn't be late or sleep in. Ready for today? I mind-linked her. Of course, just finishing up some breakfast. My mom insists I eat a huge breakfast every morning. I can't wait until she's not breathing down my neck anymore. That will all be over soon. Lying to her over MindLink was a lot easier than doing it in person, I found out. I'll head over as soon as I'm done. Meet me out front? Sure. See you in a bit. I just wanted to check that she was awake, not accompanying her through the pack house. Luckily, most people were training until 8 anyways, and the Omegas would be in the kitchen preparing food or starting their work. I wait for her at the front door for what seems like ages, until she comes waddling up. She was showing, but it was obvious that she was pushing out her stomach more for the attention. She smiled when she saw me and grabbed my arm for support. I let her take it and walked her through the pack house to the clinic. Dr. Lockhart was waiting for us at the front when we arrived. Hello, you two. How are you feeling, Jennifer? He asks her as he shows us back to a room. Fat, gross, and tired, she complains as I help her up on the bench. I see the doctor roll his eyes before turning around to her with a huge smile. That will all be over before you know it. Believe it or not, you're almost halfway there. It can't come soon enough. He smiles at her again, but it doesn't reach his eyes. He pulls out his clipboard and looks at the papers. Perfect. Everything is looking good so far. We're going to see if we can check the gender today, and we need to take a quick blood sample to check your iron levels. He throws in quickly and keeps talking. Even if we can't see the gender for some reason, you'll still get some pictures. Your baby will start looking like a baby now. She stiffens next to me when he mentions the blood. I just had my blood drawn, she protests. That was for the DNA sample, a completely different thing. This one won't be as much, just a tiny bit to check your iron levels. The last time for a few weeks, and then again next month to check to make sure that you haven't developed any prenatal diabetes. Not so common in werewolves, but we have seen a few cases, so we like to check to make sure, especially with a ranked baby. She calms down at this explanation and reaches for my hand, which I gladly take. Anything to distract her. He pulls out his wand and rubs that clear goo on her stomach again. and this time something less of a bean and more of a baby flashes across the screen. I was amazed at how fast everything was taking shape. She was almost 2 months now, and only had 3 more months to go. It still didn't look like much to me, and I couldn't see when he pointed out the hand and the foot, but it wasn't a bean anymore. So, Mom and Dad, would you like to know the gender or wait? Jennifer squeezes my hand. Can you write it down, please? She looks to me. We can read it after, just the 2 of us. I smile and nod at her. Great, more time together. He prints out some photos and writes down the gender on a sheet of paper and folds them in an envelope. Now the less fun part. Alpha, you can stay there holding her hand. Just help me get her sitting, please. The doctor starts getting his equipment ready to draw her blood, and I can feel her tense up. She's about to say something. I know I need to distract her. Have you thought of any names you like? I ask. Well, yes, actually, but I wanted to see what you thought. I guess it will be easier to narrow down in an hour or so. She laughs a bit, and I join in. I haven't really thought of many myself. I try to keep her eyes on me. I always liked more traditional names. She rolls her eyes. I knew you would say that. You are the mother, so you get the final say. She smiles widely at me when I say that. Well, that's it for today then, the doctor says. I'll see you in 2 weeks, Jennifer, he says to her. And Alpha. He quickly adds. Let's find out the gender. She takes my hand and leads me out. I nervously look around, not wanting to see anyone. Do you want to go to my office? I ask, hoping she would say yes. Actually, I'm in the mood for a walk. Doctor's orders that I get as much exercise as possible. She rubs her belly. I tried to think of a way to release my hand from hers. I'll meet you out back. How about I grab us something warm to drink? She nods enthusiastically. I pour some coffee in a to-go cup for me and quickly make her some tea. I just want to get this over with and spend the day avoiding everyone until the results come back. I find her standing outside, twirling one of her curls around her finger. Here you go. I hand her a cup and take mine in both hands, starting to walk so she can't take mine again. We take a short walk around the garden that feels like it's taking hours. We come to a bench. Would you like to sit for a second? I ask her. I help her take a seat and sit next to her. I pull the envelope from my pocket, really not caring less about her baby's gender. Do you want to open it? I hand it to her and she hesitates. Let's do it together. How the fuck are we supposed to open an envelope together? We both take a side of it and rip it open. That was uneventful. We still had to open up the piece of paper. Okay, she takes a deep breath. Let's see what the alpha baby's gender is. You do the honors. I smile down at her. She opens up the paper. It's a boy, she squeals and bounces up and down. I'm carrying the next alpha of Moonstone in here. She rubs her belly and smiles down. The first affection I've seen her show for the bump. She looks up at me and I plaster a wide smile on my face and place a hand on her stomach. I can't wait for this walk to be over. Isla. I woke up deciding that I needed to talk to Jackson, figure out what was going on with the test. I wanted to give him his space, but he usually would come for a run or spend his evenings at the doctor's house, and I haven't seen him in days. I was starting to get worried about him. Just a quick conversation to see where the paternity test was at, and then I would feel better. I could relax a bit after that. I just had to make sure nothing was wrong. Abigail knocks on my door. Do you want to go for a walk with me? I wanted to talk to you about something. Sure. Is everything okay? I'm worried now. Yeah, of course. Just discussing options for the future. She smiles. I grab a jacket and we head out back through the gardens. She doesn't start talking until we reach a forest path. So, I don't want to bring this up. I know it's a touchy subject, but if... She stops walking and turns to me. If the paternity test comes back and Jackson is the dad, my heart starts thumping. What do you know? Oh, no, nothing. Abigail looks flustered. Yet, I know just as much as you do. I just wanted to know if you still plan to, leave. Yes. I look away, knowing it would be hard for her when I left too. I just don't think that I can bear it. Being here but not being allowed to officially be with him, watching him raise someone else's kid that hates me. I know that was selfish. She wouldn't even let me near him. I would drive a wedge between him and his child, and I couldn't bear that. It's not fair to the pack. I understand, and I support you completely. I look back up at her. You do? I whisper. But I don't want you to go alone. I'm confused. What other option is there? What do you mean? You can't come with me. You found your mate here. I've talked to Jim a few times, and we both agree that we don't want you to leave on your own, whatever pack you choose, and I'm sure Jackson would help you get set up. Thank you. I appreciate it. I start walking again. And we would follow you. I freeze. No, you couldn't. We already discussed it. Jim's been here his whole life. He's ready to try something new. Now that we found each other, the pack doesn't matter, as long as we're together. I smile at her. I'm so glad that she found him. That is a lot to ask, I say. I couldn't have them uprooting their lives for me. You're not asking. We already decided. If you leave and if you'll let us, we want to come with you. Tears well up in my eyes, and I start walking again, not sure what to say. I reach out and grab her arm, and we walk in comfortable silence. I can't say I wasn't happy. The thought of not only losing Jackson, but losing Abigail would have crushed me completely. If they were willing to relocate, if they actually wanted to relocate, I would welcome them. It gave me a bit of hope that when I had to leave, everything might be okay in the future. We walked until the trail split in two, one heading deeper in the forest and one heading back to the pack house. Jim set an envelope of money for us on the table to go into the pack's town area. That was generous of him. He wanted us to have a day out to ourselves, shopping, eating, whatever. I know it's not much, but I thought it would be nice. Do you want to head back now? Actually, I might continue walking for a little bit. It was still early morning, and I was enjoying this. Besides, after shopping, we would have an open afternoon, and that did nothing to distract me. Are you okay if I head back? I just want to pop into Jim on his break. Of course not. You do that, and I'll meet you after. It will be perfect timing. She smiles at me and turns to head down the path leading back to the pack. I continue my walk, focusing on everything around me. The leaves were mostly orange and red now, falling easily in the wind. They swirled as they fell, coating the dirt path with their vibrance. It was cold out now, but with my jacket, I didn't feel it. I breathed in the crisp fall air, and it invigorated me. I wasn't sure how far I walked, but I started to hear voices. I must be close to the end of the trail, close to the pack house. Would you like to sit for a second? I heard a voice that reminds me of Jackson. I needed to talk to him today. I decided I would find him after my day out with Abigail. I get closer to the voices, close enough that I can make out two figures between the sparse trees, settling themselves on a bench. The man looks doting, helping the woman sit down and making sure she is comfortable. I sighed. I wanted that. I wish it could be easy for me and my mate. I take a steadying breath. I needed to stop with the self-deprecating bullshit. I made my decision and nothing will change the outcome. I needed to stop dwelling on it. Do you want to open it? The woman speaks, sounding oddly familiar. I see her tug on a perfect curl. That couldn't be Jennifer, could it? Who was she out here with? Maybe she was up to something. I take a few steps forward, quietly, overcome with curiosity. Let's do it, the man says. Jackson says. My heart drops. They rip open something. I can't see what. Let's see what the alpha baby's gender is. I couldn't breathe. He knew the baby was his. He accepted that it was his. I stumbled onto an intimate gender reveal. Is that why he was avoiding me? He wasn't sure what to tell me that he found out and accepted the baby, and by the looks of it, Jennifer too? It's a boy, she squeals. I'm carrying the next alpha of Moonstone in here. A baby boy. The next alpha of Moonstone. She's having Jackson's baby. My mate's baby. Jackson places a hand lovingly on her stomach and they smile at each other. I fall to the forest floor and can't help the bile that rises from my stomach. Chapter 54A. Packing. Isla. I don't know how long I stayed there. I can't move. Every part of my body feels like it's buzzing. My head is clouded and the scenes I just saw keep repeating themselves over and over like my own personal horror film. I try to make sense of it, but it's not clicking. The Jackson with me and the Jackson with her are two different people. I couldn't imagine them as one. I tried to sift through our conversations in the past, seeing if there was any indication that he was lying. He said he would give up his title for me. Not that I would have ever let him do that, but the promises he made to me, and then not even having the balls to be honest with me about the test? Did he want to just have fun with me and try to keep me here? The Jackson I thought I knew wouldn't have played with my emotions like this. Cold, powerful, dark. The rumors of the alpha of Moonstone, before I knew him as my mate, came swirling back in my head. I tried to fit together the Jackson I knew, the Jackson I just saw with Jennifer, and the rumors about the ruthless alpha of Moonstone together. They didn't fit at all. But maybe they weren't different pieces of the same puzzle. Maybe they were all one piece. I would have to accept the fact that this new Jackson was the only one that existed. The one that lied to me. The one that accepted Jennifer without even talking to me. It would make it easier to leave. At least there was that. I forced myself up from the forest floor, not bothering to brush off the leaves and dirt from my jeans. It didn't matter anymore. Nothing did at the moment. Abigail? Where are you? I'm coming back. I need to leave. I'm ready when you are. No, I need to leave the pack. What? Today. I cut off the link and headed back. My emotions fight for control over my body. Hurt, rage, sadness, heartbreak, loathing, and confusion all mixed together, threatening to explode in something I didn't want to deal with. I slammed my door open. Abigail is sitting on my bed, worried. I didn't even register she was there for a minute. What happened? She rushed to my side. It's his baby. Oh, sweetie, I was hoping for a miracle. When did he tell you? He didn't. She looks confused. I go to the closet and throw a few random things on my bed, looking around for something to put it in. Then how? I saw him. I couldn't find anything that would work. There has to be a suitcase around here, even a plastic bag would do. Abigail grabs my arm and sits me on the bed. I know it's hard, but can you please explain to me what happened? Then I can help you with whatever you want to do. I took a deep breath and tried to force myself to say what I saw out loud. She looked shocked when I finished telling her. I can't imagine. There must be an explanation. I gave her a look. There is none. Maybe he just found out, she suggests. They were looking at photos. They must have had another appointment. He knew. I'm not sure for how long, but he knew. I looked at my hands. It hurt to say. Then Jim must have. Abigail trailed off. I looked up at her and saw the pain in her eyes. I was so worried about myself, I didn't even think that the doctor would have lied to her too. I took her hand in mine. Oh, Abigail, I'm sorry. Maybe, she shakes her head and sighs. I'll have to talk to him. Can you wait until tonight to leave, please? I might be coming with you, she says resolutely. I nod. As much as I want to leave right now, I had to be logical. I couldn't react on pure emotion. I had to pack and decide where I was going. Maybe I wouldn't join another pack right now. Maybe I would head into town and get a job. I could live in the human city. I've heard of werewolves doing that before. Yes, that's what I would do. A fresh start away from the packs, something completely new. My own place, and working to make a living didn't sound so bad actually. Not as bad as joining another pack as an Omega. I made up my mind. I need a suitcase, I muttered. You stay here and get your things together. I will find one for you. Thanks. I don't look at her face. Don't leave. She squeezes my hands in hers. Please, wait for me to come back. I will, I promise her. Now that I had somewhat of a plan, I could focus on that, make a list of things I needed to do. I would have to find a place to stay, and without money that would be impossible. I could ask Abigail for the money that we were going to take shopping. I would pay her back, and that might get me through a night or two somewhere inexpensive while I found a job. I surveyed the clothing I had laid out on my bed. I needed to pack some practical things that would last for a while. I checked the clock, and barely an hour had passed after I had everything I needed laid out. I grabbed the remote and flicked through the channels, settling on a cooking show. I lay on the bed and tried to focus on it, memorizing the recipes so that I couldn't think of anything else. I woke up with a start, the light in my room bright against the gray sky outside. I rubbed my eyes and it all came crashing back. I had to clutch at my stomach to try to stop the physical pain of it all. My breathing was shallow and I dragged myself into the shower. I sat on the floor, letting the warm water run over me, trying to take deep breaths. It was no use. I couldn't help the sobs that shook me to my core. I held on to my legs and pulled them into me and cried until I had nothing left. The water must have gotten cold at some point. When I came back to myself, out of my misery, I noticed I was shivering. I reluctantly pulled myself from the floor and shut off the water, not wanting to look at myself in the mirror. I knew I must have looked how I felt. I dried off and tugged on some leggings and a sweater. That was the last breakdown I would let myself have, at least for today. Today, I needed to focus. I needed to plan. The last thing I needed was to see if I could get some food from the kitchen to pack. Last time, the food I grabbed was barely enough for a few days. And if I was moving to a city, I couldn't just let Adrastea go out and hunt. I checked the time. It was after dinner. I was surprised, but I didn't know how long I slept or how long I was in the shower. I let my hair partially dry before I left my room, softly closing the door behind me. I snuck down the stairs. To my relief, the kitchen was empty. I almost forgot that Omegas here didn't have to work all hours of the day. I found a canvas bag and stuffed it full of fruit and pastries left over from breakfast. I made a few sandwiches and threw in some water bottles and protein bars. That should sustain me for a few days. As soon as I got a job, everything would be okay. I could do this, I thought to myself resolutely. I left the kitchen, looking back to make sure everything was in place. I felt guilty about stealing, but my desire to get out of here alive overpowered my guilt over taking a few things. I rounded the corner and headed to the staircase. There were some people around, but I hoped no one would notice me. I passed the elevator and saw a ton of boxes outside of it. An older man was working on loading them. I paused, slightly curious. "What the fuck are you gawking at?" I turned around and saw Jennifer right behind me. I couldn't help but look down at her stomach. She was showing, and it made mine twist. She noticed my stare and gave me a smirk and started to rub her stomach. "Normally, I shouldn't be showing this much, but you know, with an alpha's baby, it's guaranteed to be bigger than normal." I nod, words getting caught in my throat. "What are you still doing here?" she demands. I shrugged. Why weren't my words working? She notices the bag slung over my shoulder and yanks it from me. A few apples and a water bottle fall out. She laughs. "Are you stealing from my pack?" I shake my head. "I asked you a question, you rogue." She glares at me. "Are you stealing from my pack?" No, just missed dinner and came down for a snack." I was relieved when something coherent came out. "Huh." She looks in the bag. "It looks like you're stealing from me. That is more than you need for dinner." She dumps the contents of the bag onto the ground. I couldn't believe someone could be this heartless. I sympathized with her. I tried to be kind. I knew what she was going through was hard, yet she still took out her anger on me personally. I grabbed the bag back from her hand. "Leave me the fuck alone," I snapped, unable to contain myself. She looked confused for a split second before a wicked smile came across her face. "Looks like the little rogue is finally getting some balls," she taunts. "I'm done trying to be civil with you. You don't even know me, but you've hated me from the first day I've been here. And for what? You're mad I was the destined mate of your ex? Talk about a fucking complex." I spit. I would be leaving soon and she was getting the majority of my anger, the only person I could take it out on. She raises an eyebrow. "Mate or not, you're not the one that is giving birth to the next alpha. You're no longer allowed on Pack lands." "Says who?" I challenge. "Says me, the mother of the next alpha and the alpha's chosen mate." My stomach drops. I couldn't tell if she was telling the truth or was saying that to get to me. "I'm moving my stuff in tonight." She gestures to the number of boxes stacked by the elevator doors. "Alpha's orders. He wants me and our son to be close to him." She rubs her belly absent-mindedly. "Of course we want you out of here now that I'm moving to the Alpha floor. I don't want his ex-mate under the same roof. Jackson would have told you, but I guess I got to you first. Spare him all the fake pity he would have to muster." She smiles down at me. Jackson wouldn't, would he? The image of Jackson rubbing her stomach after finding out that they were having a boy flashes into my mind. He changed his mind about a chosen mate. It made sense. Fuck him. I started to grab the food on the floor, not able to muster a response as tears filled my eyes. I collect everything and stand up and brush past her. She grabs my elbow and pulls me back. "You had better be out by the morning. I'll have the guards come and throw you out if you're not." She smiles. "No, actually stay. I would love to see you thrown back to your rightful place, on the streets like a fucking rat." She laughs and pushes me away. I ran up the stairs, tears streaming down my face. "Abigail, where are you? Did you talk to him?" "He's not off for another hour. He told me he couldn't see me. I just feel so lost. I know he's lying." "I'm sorry. I found a suitcase for you. I left it in the front room of Jim's. I'm waiting at the clinic until he's off." I went to my room and grabbed everything that was laid out and wrapped it in a sheet. I left without looking back, not even sure if I turned the light off. I wanted to leave before anyone could change my mind. Every second here was filled with pain and betrayal. I rushed to the doctor's house and opened the front door, thankful it was unlocked. I saw the suitcase that was laid out and dumped all of the things I had packed in the sheet into it, not bothering to organize anything. I grabbed the envelope of money on the table and stashed the money in my pocket and wrote a note on the back to Abigail, explaining that I had left and gave her my phone number. I knew her and the doctor would work it out. The mate bond must be stronger than whatever he was keeping from her. Maybe he has a reason. Maybe Jackson commanded it. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I took one last look around the cottage, trying to capture the memories and happy times I had here. A quick snapshot of a life I briefly had. I closed the door behind me and ran. It was dark, and I knew no one would even notice me. I passed the pack house and found the main street, not bothering to look back. I saw the front gates in the distance. Once I was off pack grounds, I would have to reject him. Adrastea whimpered in my head at that thought. "I'm sorry, I can't." "I understand. I agree with you, but it doesn't make it any less painful. Are we going to survive this?" "We're going to have to." Jackson. After I left Jennifer, I went on a long run in human form, longer than I've done in months. I wanted to focus on nothing else besides pushing my body to its limits. When I got back and took a cold shower, it was barely evening. At least I wasted the afternoon. I spent the rest of the evening pacing in my office, looking at my phone. I fought the urge to call the doctor, but I knew he would call me as soon as he had anything. I kept hearing the elevator door ding, but no one was coming to my office. I told Lucas and Cam to not bother me today, and I knew my parents would leave me alone. Was it Isla? Was she coming to see me? I rushed to the elevator and found about 9 boxes outside of it. What the fuck? I hesitantly opened one and it was full of boxes of shoes. Who needed this many pairs? Did my mom order some more things for Isla before the pregnancy thing? I opened another box and saw clothes. These wouldn't be Isla or my mom's style. It was filled with short dresses, 2 short dresses. I think I saw Jennifer wearing some of these before. No. The door dinged again and I saw Greg with another elevator full of boxes. I looked at him. Greg, what is all of this? He grunts as he continues moving boxes. Jennifer's stuff. There's a lot more, but I'll move it in tomorrow. He laughs. Would love your help with all this. Greg, we are getting the floor painted. I told her she couldn't move in until next week. Well, that's not what she said. She wanted to get her stuff up here as soon as possible. Can't you just put them all in an empty room and then paint the other ones? He looks around at the boxes. No use taking these away if they're just going to be coming back here. I didn't want her coming back here. Just because I was being nice today didn't mean that I wanted her to move in. Maybe I went too far by holding her hand. I sigh. She was taking liberties and I wasn't going to have it. Directly going against what I told her. I need to talk to Jennifer. I'll figure this out with her. Just bring the rest of them up, but don't bring any more in. I need to figure out what to do with all this. I moved to help him. No use fighting right now. I heard my phone ring from my office. You'll have to excuse me for a moment. I ran back to my office and locked the door behind me. I must be imagining things. The phone wasn't ringing at all. My cell phone lights up on my desk and I grab it. 1 missed call and a text from the doctor saying, "Call me." I fumbled and returned his call, my breathing shallow. This was the moment that could break or fix my life. He picks up the second ring. Alpha? Doctor. I took a steadying breath. We got the results back. I didn't say anything. You are not going to be a father. What? I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. You are not the father. And you're sure? Positive. There was no indication of a DNA match this time. I sighed. I couldn't believe that. Even though I held some hope, I didn't let myself believe that there was a way the child wasn't really mine. I was hoping for a small miracle to let Isla be my Luna, or that she would change her mind and would let me give up my title. Relief washed over me and was replaced by complete happiness. Isla is my Luna. I need to find her right now. Where is she? I demanded. I'm not sure. I haven't left my office yet. Thank you, doctor. Link me if you find her. Will do. I cut the line and rushed out of my office. Fuck, I couldn't take the elevator. I see Jennifer and her dad at the end of the hall arranging boxes. Hello, my alpha. Jennifer walks up to me. She disgusts me. Any sympathy I previously had for her was completely gone. She did this on purpose. Maybe not the baby, but she drove a wedge between Isla and me. I wanted to tear her to shreds or have her thrown in the dungeon. But I would have Isla decide what to do with her. I owed her that much. Jennifer, I said curtly. Oh, Jackson, don't be mad. I know you want it to wait, but let's be practical. Our baby is coming in a few months, and I need to get settled here and get the nursery ready. Our moms are coming tomorrow to help lay out the nursery. She grabs my hand, and it takes all of my willpower not to grab it away immediately. I have to step out for a few minutes. Something came up, I said, looking over her head, not able to look at her face. Anything I can help with? She asks sweetly. Not tonight. I placed a quick kiss on her head. Disgusting. I'll see you later, she asks, and I turn away to run down the stairs. I made it to my first floor and bang on Isla and then Abigail's door. No one answers. I see the light in Isla's room and take my chance and open it. Chapter 54B. Packing. Jackson. Isla, I called out. The TV was on, but there wasn't any sign of her there or her bathroom or closet. That's strange. Anxiety started to rise again. Did something happen to her? She wasn't the type to be careless. Even when she left the library, she put all the books away and folded the blanket she used. Her bed was unmade, and when I looked back in her closet, I saw that most of her clothes I had sent down for her were gone. Where is she? I need to check your house. I can't find her. Go on in. The door is unlocked. I need to speak to Abigail. She has been waiting for me all afternoon. Why? Is everything okay? No idea. I'll let you know. I ran out the back of the pack house, down the short lane to the doctor's cottage, and threw the door open. Isla, are you here? I called. The lights were off, and I flicked them on. A white sheet was lying on the ground, but nothing else was out of place. I tried to see if I could catch her scent, and it's faint, but recent. She must have been here not long ago. I noticed an envelope on the table with handwriting scribbled on it. Abigail, I have to leave tonight. I hope you understand I can't wait anymore. Here's my number. Call me when you can. You'll always have a place with me, but I hope you and Jim work it out. I love you. She left. She fucking left. There was no way of knowing where she would go. I couldn't have her trying to survive by herself out there. The first time was a close call. My stomach clenched thinking about it. Lucas, Cam, I need you now. Where? Coming. Isla left. Secure the front gate and help me find her. She left the doctor's cottage. I broke the link, knowing that they would be on it, and shifted into Flint, following her faint trail. There were so many ways she could have left, endless possibilities. Hopefully, she wasn't too far gone. Isla. I reached the gate with no problems. The guards looked at me funny but didn't say anything. I walked a bit further away before I could bring myself to look at the pack that I thought would be my home. How do we do this? Just state your name and your pack, and then his title, and his pack. But I don't know my last name, or what pack I was from. Do I just say Silver Lake or Rogue? Packless? Maybe formerly of Silver Moon? I'm not sure. I've never done this before. Me either. Adrastea whimpers in my head, and I take one last breath of being mates to Alpha Jackson of Moonstone. I, Isla, formerly of the Silver Lake Pack, reject Alpha Jackson of the... I hear a loud growl that makes me jump. A large black wolf bounds through the gates. When he stops and sees me, he shifts back into Jackson. What shit timing. Wait, he pants. Isla, please. Chapter 55. Explanations. Isla. Jackson, I can't. I shook my head, tears starting to openly stream down my face. I didn't want to face him again. I wanted this to be over as easily as possible, even though easy could never be a word used to describe this situation. He pulls me close to him, and I breathe in his scent, reluctantly letting it calm me a bit for the last time. The baby isn't mine. What did he say? I pull away and look at his face. That's not possible. I saw you today. It's a boy. Jackson looks confused, and then realization washes over him. I'll have to explain everything. Please, let me. I shake my head. I didn't believe him anymore. Isla, the baby isn't mine. I just found out. He takes my hand in his. Please, be my Luna. I don't understand. He gets on his knees, finally down to my level on his knees. Isla, I will do anything in my power to earn your trust again. I will explain everything right now if you'll let me. Please come back. We can be together. The baby isn't mine. We got another test done without Jennifer knowing. But today, it was all an act. The doctor was in on it, and we scheduled another appointment and had her blood drawn so she wouldn't know we were doing another test. It's a long story. Could I explain it to you inside? I nod, reluctantly wanting to believe him. Thunder rolled in the distance, confirming my decision. I wasn't going to spend the night in the rain. He stands up and pulls me into another hug. I had to admit, it felt nice. Stupid mate pond. Cameron and Lucas came running, almost bumping into the back of Jackson. We lost a scent. Cameron looks frantic. Jackson rolls his eyes and moves to the side, revealing me standing there. You idiot, Jackson grumbles. Lucas puts his arm on Cameron's shoulder and looks relieved. We found her, he says. She's right behind your naked ass, Lucas jokes. Mind filling us in? Cameron says, studying my suitcase. There are a lot of people who need filling in. Let's head to my office. Fuck, never mind. Jennifer started moving her stuff in. I let out an involuntary growl and Jackson pulls me close. Cameron and Lucas look confused and exchange a look. I didn't tell her to do that, Jackson adds. I figured as much, Cameron says. Thick raindrops start to fall around us. Lucas, do you mind getting me some of your clothes? He nods. I'll link my parents. Let's head to the doctor's house. It might be a long night. Can we order pizza? Lucas asks. Cameron claps him on the back of the head. What? If we're settling in for a long night, I'm just trying to help keep energy levels up. Plus, I'm starving after all that excitement. Jackson looks at me. Hungry? Pizza sounds great, I say. Make sure you order enough, Jackson says. And bring a bottle of whiskey. I think we all need a drink after this past month. I'll link the doctor to make sure it's okay that we go there, even though I'm sure it's fine. I'll have my parents meet us there as soon as they can. Jackson takes my suitcase in one hand and my hand in his other. I was curious why he needed everyone there. Maybe I wasn't the only one in the dark about this whole situation. My emotions were still all over the place, and I would have to figure them out later. Right now, I don't think I could process anything else. Today has taken a toll on me. When we get back to the doctor's house, he has a warm fire crackling in his familiar large fireplace. The rain started lashing around us on the way back, and I'm soaked. Abigail rushes up to me. I'm so glad he caught you. You're soaking wet. Come on, let's get you into some dry clothes and under some blankets by the fire. I follow her into the master bedroom. She chooses some warm clothes for me and towel dries my hair once I'm changed. Did you get to talk to him? I ask her. She nods. It makes sense, but I still don't like that he kept something from me. She starts brushing my hair now that it's semi-dry. The important thing is that you're still here and that it isn't his baby. I take a deep breath. She pauses and looks at me in the mirror. You're going to get through this. You've made it through the past month. This is just a little bump in the road. Once you hear everything, it will make sense. I promise. She kissed my head. Now, let's get back out there and get you warmed up. Jackson is closed, so that must mean that Lucas is here. Abigail guides me to a seat in front of the fire and wraps me in a blanket. The doctor comes over and hands us mugs of hot chocolate that I gladly take. Pizza's ordered. Cameron bursts in the door. Do you have any glasses for these? Cameron drops 2 bottles of whiskey on the table. Ice? The doctor asks. Cameron smiles at him. William and Gianna come through the door a few minutes later, shaking off an umbrella. Gianna looks frantically around until she sees me and then rushes to my side, taking my hand in hers. Oh, sweet girl. William just told me what happened. What is it with our men keeping things from us? Abigail chimed in. Hey, we were out of the loop too. Lucas comes over and hands all 3 of us a glass of wine. He sits on the couch and Cameron comes to join him. The doctor comes and sits behind Abigail, pulling her into him. She rolls her eyes but can't help smile against his chest. William comes over with a large glass of whiskey and sits on one of the chairs. Well, it looks like we're all here, so let's get to the bottom of this. Well, let's get the explanation out. William says, Do you mind if I borrow my mate? Jackson looks at his mom and Abigail. Gianna releases my hand and I set down my hot chocolate next to my wine. He comes over and helps me stand up and pulls me into his lap on a chair, still close to the fire. I breathe in his scent and relax. Jackson. Having Isla back in my arms, knowing that she didn't have to leave, was the best feeling in the world. I inhaled her warm vanilla and cinnamon scent and let the calm wash over me before starting the story. Besides my dad and Dr. Lockhart, no one knew of this plan. My mom glares at my dad, and I see Abigail turn to the doctor to give him a look. I look down at Isla, and she is just staring at me curiously. I didn't deserve her. I asked my dad to explain his theory and what he told me when he came to me. I saw everyone's shocked faces when my dad mentioned the part about seeing the text. Then the doctor explained a few theories, and there was a collective gasp when he said that it might have been dark magic. I finished off telling the part of trying to keep Jennifer in the dark to get her to agree to get her blood drawn. So that's why we had to sit through that awful dinner? My mom interrupts. I nod. I thought it would be easier the fewer people that knew. I turned to look at Isla, who was looking at me intently. I brushed a piece of hair away from her face. I didn't want to get your hopes up either, as the odds were so small. I was talking to just her now. She nodded and buried her face into my chest and let out a long sigh. I wish I knew what she was thinking. There was silence in the room for a few minutes as everyone took that in. Well, fuck, Lucas says. Language, my mom chides. I can't believe dark magic. Cam pauses. We need to identify the man that visited Jen. He goes into warrior mode. The tinted windows might have made it hard for the cameras to have gotten a good photo. Let me get his description from the guards that were on duty, and then I'll contact all the nearby packs. He jumps up. Cam, it's late. Sit down and we can do it tomorrow. I look at him sternly. Right. He sits back down and twirls his empty glass. There was a knock on the door and we all jumped. Pizza! Lucas screams and goes to the door. Cam goes over to help him lay out 15 large pizzas on the kitchen island. Let's take a break and eat, and then we can discuss the fun part. What's the fun part? My mom asks. Isla's Luna ceremony? Her eyes light up. What are we going to do with Jennifer? Isla gives a small smile. I place her on her feet in front of me, and when everyone leaves to get pizza, I take her chin in my hands. I'm so sorry. I just couldn't bear getting your hopes up again. I was hoping to have it all done secretly, and then I would tell you the bad or good news personally. I would have explained everything. I wish you hadn't stumbled on us. She looks away at the last part. You have to believe me. I want no one else but you. Even if it was mine, I would never choose her as my mate. You're the only one that matters to me now. She meets my eyes again, and I'm drawn into the depths of her green eyes. Without thinking, I press my lips to her, trying to convey the amount of longing and passion I have for her. She returns my kiss hungrily. I love you, Isla. Her eyes go wide. Not because of the mate bond, because of everything that you are. I don't deserve you. I kiss the tip of her nose. I love you, Jackson, she whispers. I felt her warm breath forming those words across my chin. I wasn't expecting that. It felt like my heart was going to explode. The amount of love and happiness I felt in this moment was nothing that I've ever felt before. Come on, lovebirds, get your pizza so we can plan our revenge. Lucas plops down on the chair I was sitting in, with 5 large slices of pizza on a plate. Isla. I looked around at the faces of everyone I've grown to love over the past few months. For the first time since I could remember, the feeling of happiness wasn't accompanied by anxiety and worry. This happiness felt permanent, not a fleeting moment I was too slow to grasp. Heavy rain slated the windows, but it was cozy in here by the crackling fire. We finished the pizza in no time at all. I forgot how much these boys could eat. Gianna and Abigail and I were talking close to the fire. Well, they were talking about my Luna ceremony that Gianna was excited to get back to planning. I was just sitting there listening, completely content. Jackson was sitting on a chair behind me, and I was leaning on his leg. He was playing with my hair while joking with Lucas as Cameron refilled their whiskey glasses. Some more for the good doctor? Cameron says, and he held up his empty glass. Lucas stands up. A toast to the doctor, the drawer of blood, the guard of the samples, the previous alpha who had enough wits to figure out his trickery, and the current alpha who is an actor worthy of Shakespeare with his performance of pretending not to hate Jen. Cameron fake gags at her name. Hear, hear, Cameron adds. Everyone raises their glasses and applause and cheers erupt. Abigail and Gianna look at their mates with such adoration in their eyes. Jackson squeezes my shoulder, and I look back at him and grab his hand. Do you mind if we stay here tonight? Jackson asked the doctor. My floor is a bit occupied. Stay as long as you want. We have a guest room that is all yours. Abigail grabs my other hand and squeezes it. Sleepover, she whispers in my ear, and I laugh. So how do we break the news to Jen? Lucas says. And more importantly, can I be there to watch? An evil grin spreads over his face. Isla, do you have any ideas? Jackson looks down at me. Honestly, I didn't. I didn't feel an ounce of pity for her any longer. She knew what she was doing, and she tried to tear us apart. All for what? Jackson? To be Luna? She should have waited for her own mate instead of trying to steal mine. Vindictive bitch. The absolute worst. If you have any ideas on how you want her dealt with, I'm all ears. How about we rip her to shreds? I had to admit the thought was appealing at the moment. Maybe after she has the baby. I'm not sure. I'm open to suggestions. I look towards the group. Let's just throw her in the dungeons. Cameron shrugs. Banish her? Lucas adds. No, wait. Banish her in front of the pack. The punishment must fit the crime, my dad says. She not only lied to the Alpha, but tried to sabotage his bond with his mate, and probably used magic to do so. How about we invite her to the Luna ceremony? My mother quietly says. We all look at her. Of course, it will be Isla's ceremony, but she wouldn't know that. Gianna, you are positively wicked. I love this side of you, Lucas says with awe. Of course, we could make it a fake ceremony. I wouldn't want Isla's real ceremony to be tainted with Jennifer there. When would we do this? I don't want to have this dragged out, Jackson interjects. I could pull something together in a few days with Abigail and Isla's help, of course. She looks to both of us. Why don't we make it the real ceremony? I whisper. I feel everyone's eyes on me, but I can't meet them just yet. Baby, we don't have to rush this. We have all the time in the world, Jackson says from behind me, pulling me up onto his lap. I've already felt like I was losing this pack, losing all of you. I don't want to wait any longer to make it official, I explain. You're not going to lose us. Any of us, no matter if we don't have your ceremony until you're 100. He lifts my hand up to his lips and places a kiss on the back of it. I know that, but I want to make it official. I'm ready. I turn to face Jackson so he can read the sincerity in my face. He beams at me. There is nothing I want more than for you to be my Luna, officially, and we can just throw Jennifer in the dungeon right now. No need for all of that. I want your ceremony to be special and just about you. No, I think it's a great idea, honestly. Jennifer has put me through enough. She has put us all through enough. I think they all deserve a bit of sweet revenge as much as I do. Lucas and Cameron smile widely at this idea. I just want her to taste her own medicine for once. It will only be a small part of the ceremony anyways. I shrug. Mom, can you really pull off a Luna ceremony in a few days? Gianna looks at Abigail and she nods. I can do it. We can do it, she says confidently. Jackson pulls me close to him. We can figure out our schematics tomorrow. Let's celebrate tonight getting my Luna back. Everyone raises their glass again. I fall asleep on Jackson's chest, listening to the low rumble of his voice talking to the others. Warm, content, and perfectly happy, surrounded by everyone I loved. Chapter 56A. The Dress. Isla. I wake up and with the familiar anxiety settling in. I had better get up and find something to distract myself. I tried to crawl out of bed and realized that there was a large arm across my body. I inhaled the scent of fresh pine, rain, and cloves. Oh, the events of the night before came rushing back. I couldn't help but smile. Everything was okay again. I felt excited and giddy more so than when I first came here. I was so close to losing everything. I looked at it with a new sense of appreciation. I get tugged across the bed into Jackson's chest. Where do you think you're going? He growls slowly, sending shivers down my spine. He was mine, all mine. I snuggle up close to him. As much as I want to spend all day in bed with you, my mom already mind-linked me. She's heading over with brunch in an hour. Why? You, my Luna, have a ceremony in a few days. 3 days to be exact. I gulped. That was soon, but I was more than ready. More ready to be Luna than I was for the ceremony. I'm afraid you'll have to stay out of the way until then. He raises his eyebrow. Unless you want me to throw her in the dungeon right now. He seemed too eager. I slap his chest. You know everyone wants to be a part of this. I wouldn't ruin their fun like that. Fine, but I'm coming back later to spend all day and night with you. He pulls me close and starts kissing my neck. I can't help the moan that escapes my lips. I won't argue with that. What's in your agenda for today? I try to pull myself away from him, but it's hard with his firm grasp around me. I think I'll go to training this morning. It's pretty early now. I have to meet with Cam to try to figure out the identity of the Omega that visited Jennifer. I need to figure out what to do about her on our floor. Hearing her name made me instantly angry. Knowing her things were on my mate's floor, my floor, I wanted that bitch out. I'm not sure what I should tell her, actually, so I'm going to try to avoid her. That would be best, I say, my disdain obvious in my voice. He grins and pulls me in for a kiss. Ugh, my mom wants you ready in 15. He pulls away. Of course, she's a fucking hour early. It's barely 6. I laugh. She's just excited. And this is something I would assume would take weeks, if not months. She's pulling together this entire thing in 3 days. At least this would give me something to do, since I was stuck inside until the ceremony. Then I'm sure there are a lot of decisions to be made. We should probably shower together to save time, he suggests. We have about 5 minutes to shower. There won't be time for any of that, I say pointedly. He puts his hands up innocently. I'm just trying to save water here. I laugh, and he pulls me out of bed into the bathroom across the hall. We get ready in record time. Even though I had to admit, trying to stay away from his naked body was one of the harder things I've had to do in my life. We're enjoying a cup of coffee in the kitchen when his mom knocks her typical quiet yet firm knock and opens the door before either of us gets a chance to go to it. William follows her in, carrying a few boxes and bags, looking more like a pack mule and less of a doting maid. Where do you want all this, darling? William asks. The kitchen island is just perfect. I do love this open floor plan. She walks to us and gives Jackson a kiss on his cheek. He has to bend down for her to do so, and then turns to me. Isla, you will make the perfect Luna. Thank you so much for letting me help you with this. She smiles at me, grabbing my cheeks. Honestly, I couldn't do this without you. Thank you for putting together such a big event in a few days. Well, she brushes her hands together. It will be tough work. I've never thrown an event this quickly, but it can and will be done. She turns to William. First things first, sustenance. She goes to the island and starts unpacking the boxes and bags. In a few minutes, she has laid out an array of pastries, fruit, breakfast sandwiches, and these little puff pastries that smell divine. Can I help with anything? I walk up to her. Can you find some plates and glasses? I brought different juices and, of course, champagne. It's going to be a long day, and coffee can only do so much for your creative juices. I see Jackson and William exchange a look, and I can't help but smile. Fine, she glares at them. I also might be a tad bit hungover. I can't drink like I used to. Now, would you grab me a cup of coffee, sweetie? She turns to her son. Coffee sounds great. I turn around to see Abigail and the doctor. Jim. I should start calling him Jim. I see Abigail and Jim walking into the kitchen. Jim is already dressed for the day. What a spread this is, Jim notes appreciatively. I hope you don't mind me taking over your kitchen, Gianna asks Abigail. Not at all. You're welcome to our house whenever you need. I'm excited for today. Gianna gives her a wide smile and claps her hands together. Let me shower and I'll be right back out to you, Abigail says, after taking a steaming cup of coffee from Jackson. Okay, gentlemen, get out. We have work to do, Gianna announces, anxious to get a start on everything. They all grab a few pastries and head out. Jackson gives me a quick kiss before Gianna shoos him out the door. "I'll see you all this evening," Gianna says. It wasn't a question. "That is, if it's okay to intrude on your hospitality for a little longer?" Gianna asks Jim. "Of course. I love having you all here," he says genuinely. I was excited. Not that today wouldn't be fun, but I knew it would be a long day. Having something to look forward to this evening would make it easier. Gianna wastes no time and sets out binders full of color swatches, pictures of table decorations, and a list of vendors. My eyes bulge. I didn't know what half this stuff was for. Gianna comes around and places her hand on my shoulder. "It's okay. I emailed most of the vendors last night. I have some confirmed already, the ones that could pull something together last minute. They owe me a few favors anyways." She waves her hand at the pile of binders. "So we can narrow this down immensely, and all you have to do is make a few simple choices. I'll handle the rest." "Gianna, I can't let you do all of this alone." "She has me. You make the choices, we will do the busy work." Abigail comes in freshly showered. Gianna beams at her. I love that they are getting along so well. "It is colder, but I was hoping we could have it out back. We have most of the heaters that we need and we can rent the rest. Is that okay with you?" I nod. Outside actually sounded so nice. "So, what we need from you is to let us know what kind of atmosphere you want. You can choose the colors, flowers, food, and then of course your dress." Gianna passes a few papers over to me with way too many choices. "I did have a Luna dress. Usually you wear white, but I'm afraid it might be a bit dated. You can see it, but I'm not sure if we will have time to get it altered or changed to fit modern fashion." "I would love to see it." Gianna smiles at me. "I'll have it brought over this afternoon with our lunch." I look down at all the options. I didn't even realize there was so many kinds of flowers or different variations of one color. I flip to a page of 25 different shades of silver. I take a deep breath. I honestly don't know where to begin. I look at her feeling completely overwhelmed. "What is your favorite part about this pack? Besides my son, of course," she adds, smiling. "Besides you all, I love how safe and cozy this place is. Some of my favorite nights were spent right here in this cottage. It feels like a fairy tale since I got here. Well, before the whole Jennifer thing. I can't help but say her name with malice. I guess it just feels like my own personal fairy tale. I love this cottage, especially my library in the tower, and walking around the pack grounds, looking at the mountains. I don't think I will ever get used to the sheer beauty of it all." Gianna thinks for a second. "A fairy tale. I can work with that. Nothing too cliche, of course. A cozy cottage fairy tale. What if we kept the colors simple? There is so much color already outside with the changing leaves," Abigail suggests. "That's brilliant, Abigail. The ceremony will start when it's still light out so we can really capture those colors. And then maybe after it gets dark, we can bring lots of candles and fairy lights, maybe some outdoor fire pits. We can make it warm, cozy, but still elegant. What do you think, dear?" Gianna turns to me. I love it. The more they talk about it, the more excited I got. They were really trying to make it about me, for me, instead of throwing an over-the-top party as I expected. We settled on neutral tones, cream tones that were almost white, with touches of silver. When Gianna put the samples together, it clicked. It wasn't over the top at all. It would be elegant and simple enough. I could completely get behind this. Well, now that that's settled, that makes it easy sticking to a neutral palette. Let's talk guest list. Gianna pulls out a long list that takes over 5 pages of the binder. My eyes pop out. "Oh, don't worry, dear. Most of these are pack members. I like to send out official invitations." "Oh, the invitations. Remind me about that and we can get those decided on to get sent out tomorrow. Of course, most of the pack will come, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to invite alphas from the packs nearby." She turns to look at me. "Is that what was normally done? I've never seen a Luna ceremony," I explain. "Usually, yes, but we aren't really following tradition with this one. 2 days' notice will be no time, really. I think we should extend the invitation, and I can write a handwritten note to the alphas explaining the situation. Vaguely, of course. I just don't want them to think they were afterthoughts." I gulp. They probably wouldn't come anyways. Yes, I think that's a great idea. We don't want to get off on the wrong foot immediately. Alpha Benjamin and his Luna, I can't remember that twat's name, excuse my French, Gianna asks. I guess we have to keep the peace, I say, praying that they wouldn't come, even though they were less than an hour away. We were able to pick out table arrangements easily, sticking to different heights of candles placed on raw wood blocks with moss around them. Simple and fairy tale-like. For the invitations, here are a few that I think might work with our theme. Gianna places 5 samples in front of me. I wondered, not for the first time today, where she kept pulling these out of. How about this one? I pick a simple, thick invitation with black writing and script. It reminds me of a book. Ah, that is lovely. We will have it printed on cream paper to match. I nod. All right, well, now that most of the decisions are out of the way, let's put this in action. Gianna divided tasks and she pulled out her laptop. Abigail and she were on the phone all morning. Gianna added everything to a spreadsheet I couldn't make sense of. She gave me the task of ordering the flowers and the candles and wrote down exactly what I had to order to make it easy. My task took a total of 10 minutes, and the confirmation emails were already sent to Gianna and put on her spreadsheet. Are you sure I can't do anything else? Open this. She hands me a bottle of champagne and gets back to her phone call. No cream. I understand the difference between white and cream. This is a slightly white cream, but not white. I don't want white. It's too stark. Gianna goes on pacing around the room. Abigail hands me a book from the doctor's collection and grabs some glasses. Ah, thank you. Gianna takes a glass from Abigail. Isla, your job is to relax. You've been through enough for a lifetime, and you made the important decisions. Go start yourself a fire and drink this. I'll let you know when we need your input. She leads me to one of the oversized chairs by the fireplace. I felt guilty, but I knew that Gianna was loving this, and it would give time for both of them to bond and talk without me. Well, I was a few feet away, but still. I lit the fire that was already set up in the fireplace and sat down on a chair by the closest window. I took a sip of champagne and looked out the window, watching the leaves fall slowly down and around the cottage. I opened the book and immediately got swept into it. Isla? Gianna comes up to me and I was shaken from the world of my book back to reality. Lunch is here, and my Luna dress if you want to try it on. Of course, thank you. I set the book down and stretched my muscles. Lunch already? Is there anything I can help with? We have contacted most everyone we needed to, and found suitable replacements for those that couldn't accommodate a rush order. The invitations are already being printed and sent out as we speak. We omitted your name for obvious reasons. I nod, taking a sandwich from a spread, enough to feed 10 people on a silver platter. When Gianna does anything, she goes all out. I was hoping you would let me borrow Abigail tomorrow. Abigail looks at Gianna curiously. I wanted to go shopping for a new dress. William and I will be there supporting Jackson, of course, and you, darling. Abigail should be there supporting you. So obviously new dresses are in order, and I would like to coordinate. Abigail beams at her. Is that okay? Do you want me up there with you? Abigail asks me. Of course I want you up there. Can Jim be there too? I ask Gianna. Abigail's eyes well up at this. I think that's a lovely idea. I'll arrange the suits for the men. They will just need a fitting tomorrow. Everything is coming together perfectly. After we eat, she hands me a large white box. I carefully open it and move the paper away, revealing a floor-length white silk dress with long sleeves. It was elegant and simple. The back had small pearl buttons. It was form-fitting with the slightest flare at the bottom and had a sewn cinch around the waist. Nothing like I expected. I was thinking of a puffy white gown or something equally as horrendous, but I should have known Gianna's taste was timeless. I pulled it out, running my fingers along the cool fabric. I loved it. It had a vintage classic feel, perfect for a fairy tale ceremony. Of course, if we had time, we could scrap it and have something else made from the silk, she muses. Not much we can do with it now, unfortunately. Do we have time for a quick hem? I hold it up to me. Gianna is a few inches taller, even without the heels she always wears. I would trip trying to wear this. She looks at me confused. I love it. I want to wear it if you don't mind me taking it up a bit. I'll try it on now, but it looks to be my size. I head to the guest room and slip it on. It fit almost perfectly, besides the extra few inches of fabric that billowed out onto the floor. I love the feeling of it. The sleeves had a little loop on them that I didn't notice before, and I realized it must go on my middle finger. I slipped the loop over them and surprisingly liked that the fabric came to a point across the back of my hands. "Abigail," I called. She came rushing in and took one look at me, about to cry. "I'm not getting married," I laugh. "It's just a dress. I could use help with the buttons, though." When she finishes the last button and I look at myself in the mirror, I loved what I saw. I couldn't wait to show Gianna. I stepped out of the room and Gianna's eyes went wide and started to fill with tears. "What is it with everyone crying today?" I tried to lighten the mood. "Isla, you look absolutely stunning. Better than I did in that dress. It suits you perfectly," she gushes, twirling me around. "I see what you mean about the hem. I will have someone come this evening to take your measurements and start working on the dress." She's right. Abigail comes to stand next to her. "This dress is perfect for you. You look like you belong in some elfish woods in the 20s, she states. "That is exactly the atmosphere I'm going for." I laugh. Gianna wipes her tears away and looks at me with such adoration, it made my heart feel like it would explode. Chapter 56b. The Dress. Jackson. I didn't want to leave Isla so soon after I officially got her back, but I knew she was in good hands with my mom, and if nothing else, she would be well fed today. I had to admit, I enjoyed staying with the doctor. It felt like a little vacation away from everything, even though he was a few steps from the pack house. But I couldn't wait to get Isla back into our room. After training, I had Cam and Lucas and my dad meet me in my office. My dad normally wouldn't be a part of these meetings, but he was the one that discovered Jennifer's plan, and I knew that he was secretly loving being back in on the action again. "Let's get to business then, boys," I start off. "Cam, this is your area." I leave the meeting open to him. All we could get was a grainy photo and a basic description. Light brown hair, brown eyes, a bit over 6 feet. There were no distinguishing features. "He could be from anywhere," Lucas sighs. "Yes," Cam goes on. "He could be, but I know what I'm looking for." "What did you find out?" "He's from the Blue Ridge Pack," Cam says confidently. "Ran the plates, already sent the description to the Gamma there." Well done. I shouldn't have been as impressed as I was. Cam was always ahead of things when it came to security. "I want to increase our gate security as well," I add. "Great, I have a few ideas." We spent the next hour going over his ideas in detail, and we all decided on increased security measures. Cam wanted to set up a facial recognition system for members of the pack eventually, but that would take time. At the moment, we would install better cameras and make everyone that drove in have a photo ID. We didn't want to go too overboard, as most of the people that visited were neighboring ranked members, but increasing safety was of the utmost importance for our pack. "Great, I'll brief the team on the changes this afternoon and do some research on the best cameras," he says excitedly. "Knock, knock." The door flings open. My face tightens before I pull it into a smile. Lucas and Cam don't have to even look behind them to know who it is. "Hello, Jennifer," my dad says politely, but lacking warmth. "Come here and sit down. You must be tired." "William, it's so nice to see you. Thank you." She takes his arm for support and plops herself on the couch, surveying Cam and Lucas. "I was hoping to talk to Jackson alone." She sounds annoyed. "We were finishing up a meeting," I say. "I'll come back when you're free then." She makes a move to sit up. I didn't want to have a long conversation with her. I knew I would blow it. It was taking everything in my power to not lose it right now. "Wait, how about you guys take a break? I'll meet you downstairs for lunch in 10. I say, establishing a time limit so I could get this over with. "Yes, boss." Lucas salutes me as Cam follows him out. My dad gives her a tight smile. We have a lot to cover today, son. Try to make it quick. I nod, thankful for him for legitimizing my excuse. When the door shuts, she pats the seat next to her. Come sit, baby. I reluctantly get up and take a seat on the couch a foot away from her. I was waiting for you all night, she pouts. I'm sorry, some pack things came up. I give her a vague excuse. You know I told you I would help with those. I try to smile at her. And I told you your job was to relax until our baby boy gets here. It's so boring just sitting around without you. I want to help. I know how much of an asset I'll be to this pack. To you. She looks up at me through her lashes. Was she trying to be seductive? I'm aware. I just want to make sure everything goes right. She grabs my hand and I freeze. I hope she didn't notice that. I need help today too. There are so many boxes to move and the painters haven't even started. I haven't even seen them yet. She rolls her eyes. I told your dad I would help him move the rest once the paint was done. They should be here today or tomorrow. Once they start painting, I really don't want you up here. I could probably get the guest rooms painted anyways. I might as well if it gets her out of my hair. But I'm so lonely. Where will I stay? Where have you been staying before? I was waiting for you in your room. She licks her lips. The fuck? Why didn't you come back? I ended up falling asleep on the couch in the rec room. She scrunches her face. Weird. I didn't see you there when I went looking. The Luna ceremony couldn't come soon enough. Not just to make Isla my Luna officially, but to get her out of my hair. I can't believe she could be this naive. Can we just take a room on the second floor? We can kick out that old Omega now that her friend is gone, and we can have it to ourselves while the rooms up here are painted. I fought a possessive growl when she mentioned Abigail. I'll get you a room down there, but I have work to attend to for the next few days. I won't be around much. Link me if you need something. I hope I didn't sound too harsh. I brought something for you. She pulls out a square box from her purse, wrapped in light blue wrapping paper. I take it from her and rip open the edges of the paper. It's a dark blue frame with a picture of the baby bean child in it. She looks at me expectantly. This is great. Thank you. I turn away from her to put it on my desk so I don't have to fake enthusiasm. To my dismay, she walks up behind me and links her arms around my waist. He looks perfect there, she whispers. I unlink her arms and turn to face her. Now, I really do have to be going. I'm sorry. But the next few days will be crazy. I'll have a new room set up for you on the second floor, pack a small bag of things. I squeeze her arms and let them go, hoping that came across as a loving gesture. She looks slightly confused. Everything will be perfect. Just give me a few days. I smile at her genuinely, this time thinking of Isla's Luna ceremony. Jennifer. Jackson not showing up last night was a disappointment. I thought we would hook up and then we would be back to normal. He accepted me as soon as he found out the baby was his. I knew he would take any excuse to leave that pathetic street dog. He seemed a bit cold when I showed up at his office, but the picture of our baby cheered him up just like I thought it would. The future alpha I was carrying. I almost couldn't believe this was happening. Well, I could. I made it happen. A Luna has to have determination, unlike that spineless bitch. The moon goddess was obviously wrong about not pairing us together. Both of our mates being Omegas was an obvious mistake, one that I had to rectify. Everything will be perfect. Just give me a few days. Jackson smiles widely down at me, the smile that used to belong to me back. That gave me some relief. Okay, I miss you. He kisses my forehead, and I feel butterflies. Not exactly the same as the mate spark, but these were better. These butterflies indicated that my place was secure, that I was on my way to becoming Luna of this pack, and my son was already the future alpha. Jen, there's something you need to see. What, Mom? Come here. I follow Jackson out of the office, and he leads me to the elevator. I'll link you when the room is ready. Let me know if you need anything. He turns away from me. Goddess, I can't wait to have more kids with him. I open my parents' door, annoyed. Yes, Mom, what is it now? I flop on the couch. She needed me for every incessant detail of the baby's nursery. I just got this. She throws something on my lap, a thick envelope. Why didn't you tell me? She crosses her arms, looking genuinely pissed. Tell you what, Mom? I sigh, tugging open the envelope. Was it a cousin getting married that I forgot to mention or some other bullshit? I pull out a thick cream card with an old-timely looking script on it. What is this, the fucking 20s? William and Gianna Black request the presence of you and your family to join their son Alpha Jackson William Black of the Moonstone Pack in welcoming his new Luna. Chapter 57. The Invitation. Jennifer. What the fuck? Mom, what is this? You didn't tell me about your ceremony, she yells. You didn't even tell me that he took you as his chosen mate. You know how huge this is for me, for all of us. How long have you known? She demands, her face beet red. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. I throw the ugly invitation on the floor. If Jackson would have asked for my input, it would be more flashy, more in your face, not some stand-in-the-shadows dark script. So what? Jackson is throwing a ceremony without telling you? I don't believe that. She scoffs. That is exactly what I'm saying. I get up. I don't understand this at all. She seems to believe me. Was it a surprise then? She studies my face. I guess. I try to think back. He said he was busy with pack things, said things would be perfect in a few days. Was he surprising me with a Luna ceremony? I wish he would let me plan it, but I could make the baby shower even bigger, and I'm sure I could get a wedding out of him. Mom, am I going to be Luna in 2 days? I look at her. Her angry face changed into shock and adoration. My daughter, Luna of Moonstone. She grabs and pulls me into a hug. That is exactly what that means. Come on, we need to get you a dress. I need to talk to Gianna. Goddess knows what their taste will pull off. They're way too simple. Did you see the invitation? I scoff. My mom laughs with me. Plain and simple. Thankfully, they will have you to show this pack what class is. Isla. Most of the decisions were made, and we were just waiting for a few confirmations from some of the vendors. I was back in Gianna's silk dress to get my measurements. Almost a perfect fit, Angel. She spun me around. Just a few small adjustments. I will work on this myself tomorrow and come back for a final fitting tomorrow night. The seamstress pinned a few things and wrote a few notes while I was standing on a small stool. Gianna and Abigail were watching me, misty-eyed, until Gianna's eyes clouded over for a few minutes. I hope everything was okay. It looked like such a long conversation. Gianna looks annoyed when she's done with the mind link, but puts on a smile. Thank you so much for accommodating us. Remember, nothing about this will be spoken to anyone else, not even anyone that works for you. The seamstress nods. Of course, Luna Gianna. Your word is law. Isla, it was a pleasure to meet you, and I am looking forward to calling you Luna in a few short days. She packs up her things and carefully wraps my dress and leaves. Is everything okay? I turn to Gianna, who is pouring a glass of wine, taking a long sip immediately. She turns to me and pinches the tip of her nose. Lisa, Jennifer's mother, wants to know why she wasn't involved in the planning. I knew this would happen, but it's still annoying. What did you tell her? Abigail asks. I just said that we wanted it to be a surprise for everyone. Her eyes cloud over again. William just linked me and said that she showed up at our house. She takes another long sip of wine, finishing the glass before pouring another. Why don't you appease her? I suggest. Just tell her a few decisions or bring some binders. Pretend there's more to do. I shrug. You're right. I just don't want to see her. She is so annoying, accusing me of all this stuff. She hated the invitations, by the way, she said, looking at me with a smile. Of course she did. I roll my eyes. I guess I should go save William if I'm not back in 2 hours. Send help. Pouring another small glass of wine and downs it and grabs a few binders. She takes one look around the place with a sad look on her face, like she would be leaving it forever, and sighs before turning and walking out the door. Abigail and I smile at each other. Let's get tidied up. It's almost dinner time, and I'm sure all the boys will come back here soon. I get excited at the thought that Jackson would be here shortly, and we got to have another perfect night with everyone. What should we have for dinner? Do we make something? I ask. I'm not sure if there's much time, especially to cook for a group that big with how they eat. Abigail responds, I think there are some delivery menus in one of these drawers. She looks around. Ah, here they are. We sift through a few of them. Mexican? Chinese? I ask. This Mexican one offers catering, a burrito bowl type bar. We could see if they could accommodate us. She grabs the phone and calls the number, while I load the dishwasher and arrange Gianna's binders that she left here. It's all sorted. They are having a slow night and can get some catering to us in a few hours. Great. I'll text Jackson and tell them not to worry about food tonight. Benjamin. Megan knocks on my door and comes in without me telling her to. Your mail is here. Since when did you start delivering my mail? Or is this an excuse to see me? I look at her before going back to my papers. She was starting to lose her appeal. I wanted something new. I had already been sleeping with her for almost a year, and the excitement was gone. There's something you might want to see. It's from Moonstone. That got my attention. She drops a thick envelope on my desk, and I waste no time opening it. I almost forgot about our little Omega Luna problem. We hadn't heard anything about a Luna ceremony yet, and I hated to admit it slipped my mind with everything else going on around here since the Elders' men showed up. So they are finally having a Luna ceremony, but they don't mention Isla's name here. That's strange. Megan comes behind me and bends over my shoulder to take a closer look. That is weird. I've never seen a Luna ceremony invitation without the name of the Luna on it. Maybe it's because she's an orphan rogue. She doesn't have her own family to be there. She scoffs. Maybe. The ceremony is in 2 days. They probably forgot to invite us, or just decided at the last minute and we got a last-minute invitation printed. I would not lose my alliance with Moonstone over an Omega. The fact we were invited as an afterthought angered me. There's something else in the envelope, Megan says, going to grab it, but I grab it first. She was still an Omega and needed to know her place. She was not my Luna. Alpha Benjamin, I am writing to you to explain the late invitation. Due to some recent unforeseen circumstances, we have decided to throw a bit of a last-minute Luna ceremony. Although it is tight on time, I can assure you that the Luna ceremony will be an official event. We would love to have you in attendance. However, we understand that you might have previous commitments. Rest assured that you and your family will be more than comfortable here and welcome to stay the night and join us for brunch the next morning. Please RSVP and send your regrets or how many people will be joining you. Gianna, previous Luna of Moonstone. A rushed Luna ceremony after she's been there for over a month? It didn't make sense. There was no reason to rush it, even for pregnancy. Wolves weren't as traditional as humans. Once we found and marked our mates, that was more binding than any human marriage could ever be. This is strange. See what you can figure out. I throw the letter back on the table next to the invitation and turn to Megan, who is already getting on her knees. Fine, I might as well take a blowjob since she's already up here. Lock the door. Isla. Jim gets off duty soon after Gianna leaves. Cameron, Lucas, and Jackson arrive an hour later. Jackson sweeps me in his arms. I missed you, my love, he whispers in my ear before setting me back down. Where's my mom? Lisa wanted to speak with her, I explain. I think you should link her or your dad and see what is going on. We sent her home with some binders to pretend. His eyes cloud over for a minute. They're on their way over. She said she gave Lisa the binders and told her to talk to Jennifer and write down everything they wanted, and Mom would order it. She sounded annoyed. He adds with a small chuckle. That's smart. Less contact with them, but they think they're planning something. I almost feel sorry for Lisa. It's not like she was in on it. And she thinks her daughter is going to be a Luna. I say it wasn't her parents' fault. You're too nice. I guess you're right, though, but they still get a grandchild, so they get something out of it. The door opens. Gianna and William walk in. Are your parents disappointed that they aren't getting one? I ask Jackson, but Gianna must have overheard. Not at all. As much as I would love grandchildren, Gianna gives Jackson a pointed look. We want you to be their mother, not that odious witch. William comes up and puts a hand on her shoulder. We would have accepted it being Jackson's child if it was, but neither of us were excited of the situation and how it tore Jackson away from you, he adds. Another knock on the door sounds. Lucas, Cam, do you mind getting that and bringing it in here? Abigail asks. They carry in 10 large tin trays of different meats, vegetables, and warm tortillas. There were bowls of guacamole, 5 different salsas, cheese, and sour cream. This looks incredible, ladies. Thank you so much, Lucas says while setting everything out. Let's dig in. After we finalize the details of the ceremony, I have something for us to do. Jackson looks at the doctor. I found a 10,000-piece puzzle. Abigail and I laugh, and Jim looks thrilled. Game night, Lucas cheers. Little known fact, I am amazing at puzzles. He tells no one in particular. Once everyone had seconds and third helpings, whiskey and wine are broken out again, and Jim lit a roaring fire. We all huddled around in a food coma. So, how are we going to do this? I mean, logistically, where is she heading after we out her to the pack? Cameron asks, propping himself up on his arms from where he was laying by the fire. It's a tricky situation because she is pregnant, but I say the dungeon. I stiffen. Is the baby going to be okay down there? I don't want anything to happen to him because she's staying in a cult dungeon. I turn to Jackson. You're right. Again, he says. Lucas, can you make one of the rooms a bit nicer? Maybe a proper mattress, pillow, and comforter? We can bring a heater if need be and bring her food that the pack eats. Lucas nods. I'll arrange it tomorrow. She can leave for doctor's appointments, but that's it, Jackson says, finality in his voice. I can actually conduct most of the appointments from down there, Jim cuts in. Jackson nods at him in agreement. What about visitors? Cameron asks. Her parents can come, maybe once a week. Jackson looks down at me. I think that sounds fair. Then, when she's had the baby, we can decide on a more permanent punishment. Banishment, death, or permanent dungeon sentence, Jackson says. Lucas and Cameron smile at him. How is it going to go for the Luna ceremony? I don't want any fighting. It is still Isla's night. Gianna looks at the 3 boys. I was thinking we just go on with it as normal. I can go on the stage and welcome the pack and our guests, then invite my parents to the stage, then announce the Luna. Jackson squeezes my hand when he says this. You think Jennifer will come up to the stage then too? William asks. I know she will, Jackson replies. She's going to want to see you beforehand. Probably want to check out the decorations or something, Gianna says to him. How do we get her away for the day? Jackson asks. Send her and her mom on a spa day outside the pack, Gianna suggests. Then have them get ready and tell her to come outside right before she's announced. Jackson looks at me. Do you like the sound of that? Sure, I shrug. I guess she deserves one last spa day. He smiles down at me. All right, I think we have a plan then. I'll inform my men before the ceremony to be ready, and after the drama that will definitely take place on stage, to seize her and take her to the dungeon. Jackson nods at him. I'll have to apologize for the confusion and chaos, but then we can get back to the ceremony and make Isla the official Luna of Moonstone.